who will share with you their practical hands-on experience of this and their experiences and lessons that they learnt. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we turn back to the agenda. Please do remain muted for the duration of the call. And if you can, add your name and your company name to the Zoom name so that we can see who's in the room today. We encourage you to type any questions that you have in the chat box as we go along. And then either the GDC team or one of the guest speakers will be able to respond to you. As always, we've got 1 hour. Time is quite tight, and we are keen to hear from our panelists. So we may not have time to run through all the questions in this session, but please do type them. And if we don't get time, we'll try and follow up with any remaining questions after the webinar. Okay, so without further ado, let's go to the agenda for today. So what's the plan for the next hour? We will first share with you the highlights from our updated publication on repair services. This is one of several publications in our Innovation Spotlight series, with other publications digging into topics such as artificial intelligence and e-mobility as they relate to last mile distribution. So then to the main event, we'll hand over the mic to Fred Mwali at SolarAid, who is what we call at the GDC a trailblazer. So they're offering repair services at the last mile customers, and he's going to share his top tips and insights. And then we'll follow on with a panel discussion with 3 GDC members, Kukula Solar, Nyalore Impact and Natfort Energy, who were supported by the GDC and SolarAid to adopt product repair practices in their own companies. I'd also like to say a big thank you to our partners at UK Aid and Transforming Energy Access, who support the GDC's innovation activities, including the Innovation Launchpad. Okay, so I'll now hand over to Ambrose, who I believe has a short poll to kick us off.
Thank you, Jess. I hope I'm audible enough to everyone in the room. So first is just welcome everyone to the call, and really looking forward to today's conversation. As Jess has mentioned, my name is Ambrose Mpuvi, working with the BOPIC, who is a strategic implementing partner to the Global Distributors Collective. And I was quite lucky enough to be involved actively into this project together with the 3 last mile distributors, also in collaboration with Fred as the technical advisor throughout the session. So in our conversation today, we'll majorly dig into what have been the key learnings and experiences from the pilots that we ran, and what would be our recommendations as we move forward. Well, now to kick it off, I would like us to first do a small poll so that we are able to understand within the room what's the status or where are we when it comes to deploying or offering repair as a service. So, Sally, you can kick it off. Okay, thank you. Yes, so I think as you can see, we have around 69% of us who are saying that you are currently offering repair as a service, and that 1% who are saying they are yet to offer repair as a service or to start offering repair as a service. And these are quite some interesting demographics, and I believe in the conversation we shall have, we'll be able to share experiences across our different markets so that we are able to bring out even more learnings into how to better offer repair as a service in our markets, and majorly targeting the low-income communities or consumers who happen to be our target clientele as last mile distributors. So to start it off, I'll pick it from what Jess mentioned. That is a last mile repair innovation spotlight. As GDC, we usually carry out research on the emerging trends within our space. And then this research leads us to publish what we call the innovation spotlights. And then we use the innovation spotlights to actually test out some of the new innovations around the business models and the business case studies in the last mile distribution space to be able to see what are the promising business cases and then how can we support our members to actually roll them out. And this is part of the work that we carried out in 2024, where we published the Innovation Repair Spotlight. And based on the last mile repair spotlight, we then had a cohort of 3 companies. That is Natfort Energy, Natfort Energy from Zimbabwe, Kukula Solar from Zambia, and Nyalore Impact from Kenya. And these companies were supported to roll out a 6-month pilot on how they are all able to offer repair as a service. And this was done with the support of SolarAid, whom we identified as trailblazers in offering repair as a service. And so based on that pilot, we have then come together to put together the lessons learned and to update the spotlight. Now, what are the key highlights? How did we carry out the pilot? So the 3 companies took different approaches. So when you look at Kukula Solar, the key approach was around how can they offer repair through third-party trained agents or third-party repair agents. For Nyalore Impact, the key approach was around how can Nyalore Impact offer repair through what we call community repair hubs. So the company went ahead to establish 2 community repair hubs to just be able to beef up their repair as a service model. And then for Natfort Energy, digitization was a key pillar into their repair approach. So the company actually integrated their repair approach into its CRM platform to enable the customers to book their repairs online and also to enable their repair agents to actually be able to carry out repairs using the online platform as a guiding tool. From the GDC, what support did we provide to these 3 companies? Number 1 was a small grant to support them in the piloting of the different strategies and the different approaches that each one of them was testing out in the market. And then number 2 is the facilitating the engagement with the SolarAid, who are the trailblazers within the industry, for them to be able to share lessons and also to share guidance. And this happened through our one-on-one coaching sessions, as well as through our peer learning sessions, so that we are able to pick learnings and also experiences across all the participants in the pilot. And throughout this work, we've been able to pick critical lessons. A lot of them are covered in the published spotlight. But for today, we'll focus on 3 key lessons. Number 1 was the success of repair as a model is really pegged on the last LMD's understanding of what the customers really want. And what we were able to identify is our customers are actually willing to pay for repair. But what an LMD has to establish is at what point does repair stop making sense for a customer? And we actually identified that there's a pricing sweet spot, and it's between 20 to 30% cost for repair compared to the original value, product value. So what we realized is if the cost of repair starts to go beyond the 30% mark, then the customers become less interested in actually repairing the product. Number 2 was the willingness for the customers to pay was actually increasing based on the quality of the repair that the 3 companies were able to offer, also based on the reliability of the repair works, as well as based on the professionalism of the repair agents that the companies were using. So the more they were able to tick these boxes, the willingness to pay from the customer's perspective was actually recorded to increase. Then thirdly was on the element of the product value. And what we realized is repair as a business is making much more sense at the high end of the product. So in terms of products that have a high value, so let's say the solar water pumps or the refrigeration products, then there's a high affinity for customers to actually pursue repair for such products compared to the products that are of low value. So then that means as a last mile distributor, the key work for you regarding deciding what really is the best approach is finding the balance from an operational perspective. The second key lesson, and this happened to be one of the interesting realizations throughout the pilot, was on access to spare parts. For the last mile distributors, it's not actually an easy thing to access spare parts. Key reason being the value chains for spare parts are actually still not fully developed, and also there's still some work to do to go around that from an industry perspective. And this challenge manifested itself in number one, where we had issues with the minimum order quantities that the manufacturers were requesting for. Sometimes they are way too high for last mile distributors to be able to actually meet those minimum order quantities. And then that brings the challenge of access to spare parts. As well as number two is the delays in the orders that you make for the spare parts, as well as inconsistency in quality, because we had scenarios where in 1 month, the supplies of good quality, then in the next month, you realize there's a fluctuation or a variance from a quality perspective. So a few strategies were tried out by the three companies to be able to address this. The common one was actually trying to see, are we able to stockpile for the most used spare parts? So that we are able to avoid the issue of not accessing the spare parts or not having them in store when there are delays in the supply chain. And then number two, trying to pursue the element of are we able to have partnerships with some of the manufacturers so that we get dedicated production for the kind of spare parts we are looking for. Of course, one thing is clear, this didn't fully address the challenge, and so open to conversations to further be able to see how do we address the challenge of spare parts or access to spare parts. But one key lesson was that without reliable access to spare parts, then it would be hard for a last mile distributor to actually roll out repair as a service model or as repair as a service successfully in their market. And then the third key lesson was that our different markets have very different traits and different features. And so what that means is there's no a one-size-fits-all repair model or repair approach. And so as a last mile distributor, it's upon you to be able to look at your market, look at your customers, then be able to define what model really makes sense for you when it comes to offering repair as a service. When we look at the three companies that we had, we had one of them going through prioritizing in-house repairs by maybe setting up the community repair hubs, some prioritizing the third-party repairs and going to partner with repair agents that are outside their employment or employee influence. or outside their operation sphere, and others being able to pick a model that picks the best from in-house repair approach and the best from third-party repair approach to be able to create a hybrid model. So this will purely be informed by your market traits and your market characteristics, as well as your foundations and how you're structured as a business. Number two is you will have to provide a level of support for your repair agents, be it the internal repair agents as well as the third-party repair agents. And there are several tools that can be used for you to be able to provide this support. Can be mobile apps, can be development of standard operating procedures that you can offer in an online platform, or print manuals for the agents to actually be able to utilize and make use of. So those are the three critical or three key lessons that we are actually picked from this repair work. And as we're proceeding forward, what we are actually observing is the three companies have gone forward to fully scale repair in their operations. So taking it beyond the pilot and actually mainstreaming it as a model within their operations. And this is happening through number one, based on the feedback from the market, adjusting the pricing, training of more agents, as well as integrating the learnings so that then they're able to achieve the level of cost efficiency that will allow them to have a profitable repair as a service model. Number two is collaboration is very key. So peer-to-peer learning and peer-to-peer support, it's an avenue that the three LMDs, also in conjunction with the SolarAid, as a trailblazer, are constantly engaging to be able to share lessons, share learnings, and share experiences in an informal structure or informal setup using the different online channels that were established during the pilot, and also new ones that they've been able to form as we proceed. And so this is just a brief of what the spotlight captures and all the lessons that we'll be able to pick from the spotlight. And to close it up, there are a few recommendations that we think would go a mile or a step further in broadening and enhancing the success levels of repair as a service model if adopted within the wider ecosystem. And number one is critically, we need to improve how last mile distributors access spare parts. We need to be able to find frameworks that will support local stocking and that will help reduce the high minimum order requirements so that repair as a service is feasible to last mile distributors. The number two, we need to carry out engagements with the manufacturers so that we can influence at the level of design so that products are designed with the repairability in mind, and to make them understand that it's for the benefit of the full ecosystem if they're able to provide some technical guidance, manuals, as well as spare parts throughout the product's life cycle, because then this will really go a long way into ensuring most last mile distributors are able to offer repair as a service at the required quality levels. Then number three is the aspect of policy and regulation. We need to further advocate for adoption of enabling policies that will support repair works and that will incentivize LMDs or last mile distributors to adopt repair in a manner that makes business sense and in a manner that is easy for them to scale out the repair as a service solutions. Yes, so that's mainly a brief of all what you'll be able to find in the last mile repair innovation spotlight that we've been able to update. I would actually encourage you, I think the link has been shared in the chat. Please proceed and look into it. And within there, you'll actually even find case studies of how some of these lessons actually have manifested themselves practically within the area of operation for the last mile distributors as well as for the trailblazers. And hopefully this will then allow you to look at your current model and be able to see what lessons can I pick or where do I need to make certain adjustments. Yes, and with that, I'll hand it over to Fred.
Thank you, Ambrose. So I think just to start, just to give a brief on SolarAid. So we are a social enterprise based in Zambia, and we distribute mainly Pico solar lanterns across the country. I think the next slide, please. Thank you. So we have been working in repair services since 2021. So I think the first question to ask is why repair services? And I hope this speaks to the 31% that are still not carrying out repair services at the moment, just to understand our thinking behind this and why we started. So initially we learned that around, sorry, previous slide. Thank you. We learned that around 150 million solar products were sold across sub-Saharan Africa. And just like all products, these began to fail, and it's estimated that 75% of these ceased to function. Now, this creates a bit of a challenge for last mile distributors because this is a high value of e-waste that is sitting there in different communities. And the limited infrastructure for recycling doesn't help solve this challenge. We do not know that a lot of countries in Africa currently don't have adequate infrastructure for recycling and no systems in place for that, inclusive of machinery. So we thought, let's try repair. But prior to repair, we did start what we called the Take Back initiatives. And the Take Back initiatives mainly centered around offering customers a discount for a return of their faulty product. So for example, if you have a faulty product that's suddenly stopped working, we'll ask that you bring your faulty light, and then we give you a discount on the purchase of a newer light. We did that for 1 year, but then we started to learn that customers did not prefer that. And Ambrose did touch on this, that customers were much more willing to have their product repaired. And we learned through that there's a vibrant rural repair economy in different communities. And this stems from the fact of we have different customers who are used to repairing their broken radios, their broken televisions, and different products. And they also saw it fit that they should be able to repair their solar lights. And we sort of weighed the different voices between the customer voice and what we're doing the Take Back initiatives, and decided to start out repair services in these different communities. And along our journey, we did also learn that a lot of the products are very much repairable. And I will touch on some of the highlights and numbers according to how much is repaired there. Next slide. Thank you. So what did we do in terms of our rollout? The first one is we tested Solar Energy Kit Repair, which is SEK. And this essentially is going out and proactively repairing different solar energy kits with end users, and end users in this case are the customers. We also did conduct surveys to understand the feasibility of repair, how much solar products are out there for repair, and what do people think about repairing. Secondly, we also tested 2 localized approaches, and this is the model in which we currently offer our repair services. The first one being in-house repair services, where we at our offices in Lusaka offer product repairs for different customers. But more importantly, our third-party technicians who we hire and train, also supported by repair agents. And lastly, we also explored different barriers in understanding what challenges are there in terms of offer and repair itself. And these are linked mainly to infrastructure and to policy. Next slide. So in the actual work now, this is divided into three main parts. And the setup is basically the business model that we employed. And this is working with our 5 third-party repair technicians who we trained and supported by 15 sales agents. The 5 third-party technicians are rather individuals in communities who have a high level of experience in electronic repair. We then recruited them and trained them into how to repair different solar products that we have or that we sell and distribute in different parts of the country. With the 15 sales agents, we selected these based on our sales agents who normally will distribute products much further deeper into communities. And the basic thinking behind here is that these 15 sales agents sort of fall under the 5 repair technicians and work hand in hand in one, being collection points for different products that are not working, and also by extension, providing any support in terms of different levels of expertise if the sales agents cannot repair certain products. Secondly, the biggest challenge was sourcing spare parts. As Ambrose mentioned in his presentation, I think spare parts form the basic foundation or bedrock of repair services in different communities, and also for the model and as a business. Without finding spare parts, it's extremely difficult to roll out repair services. So one of the things we did as well was find adequate suppliers, some who were manufacturers who we've worked with. Others were third-party sources of spare parts in different parts of the world. And under the setup, the last thing we did was provision of repair tools. And coming to the actual repairs themselves, we conducted repairs in 2 ways. Like I said, the first one was in-house repair services. The second one was through offering repair services in different communities. And with that, we used what we call rural community repair days. And this is where we would announce before going to a certain community or location that a team of repair technicians will come, supported by SolarAid, to offer repair services. Please be ready to come and pay for these repairs. And out of that, we repaired over 1,000 products. And this was quite a huge amount. And we are very confident that this presented a huge evidence base for some of the different common faults that we experienced across different products. The common faults that we experienced were battery failures, which were about 83% of how many faults we experienced, both at community repair days and in our in-house repair services. And lastly, like I said, we did conduct surveys where we spoke to customers, we spoke to repair technicians. We also did speak to college students. And this was mainly to also understand what they do learn in terms of technical expertise regarding solar repair. We learned that there's not much happening there. And with that, we are now working with the Solar Industry Association of Zambia and different industry associations across the continent, rather, to try and see how we can offer knowledge, particularly on solar repair, to different technical students. Next slide, please. And speaking now on results and learnings. So the first result is solar abundance. There is a lot of faulty products sitting in different households. And from our survey, we learned that over 24% of the households we surveyed had over 5 off-grid solar products that were simply not working. And these were the ones that we then started to repair. Secondly, solar is very much repairable. Of all the products received, 91.3% of these were very much repairable. Those that were not repaired were mainly products that we had not distributed as SolarAid. So it was difficult to repair them, but we did still opt to keep them as part of what we received as repairs. And on average, repair costs were around 31%. And what this essentially means is that customers are able to make a savings of 31% to repair their products instead of purchasing a new one. And thirdly, waiting and not waste. We have products that are waiting, and these are essentially not waste themselves. Again, 90% of the households just choose to keep their solar products. And this speaks to my earlier point in saying that there's a repair economy where customers would rather keep their product and not throw it initially in the hope of repair. Next slide. And so two things that we then also learned is, one, we need to extend the reach of our repair services. In our initial pilot, we piloted this in 2 provinces, but we did learn also that a lot of other provinces heard about this service and demanded that this reach them as well. So that's something we're very much looking forward to doing. And in terms of the business model, we as SolarAid want to understand further what the business model means for us. We want to ensure that the different actors, such as the repair agents and the technicians, are earning a profit. We believe that if no profit is made, this repair service will not be adopted and will not become common in these different areas that we work in. So we really want to learn how repair agents can make a profit and how technicians can make a profit, and that's extremely key. Regarding our next steps, next slide. The main objective over our next phase, which is going to be a 24-month program, is to have sustained access to electricity through accessible and affordable repair services for all. And how this looks like is in the next slide. We have launched what is called the Repair Lab. So this is the off-grid solar repair app, which is housed by us, SolarAid, as a secretariat, and we have core members. The core members in this case are the University of New South Wales, which is based in Sydney, Australia. We have CLASP and we have GOGLA. So with SolarAid, what we will do as SolarAid ourselves is to, again, go to different geographies within Zambia and try and replicate the different models and the tools that we've been using and get more learnings into what models work best. Could this differ in different geographies across the country? Could this differ in different kinds of structures regarding working with technicians or with repair agents? And is there a difference as well in the types of tools that we offer? And secondly, the University of New South Wales and CLASP will mainly be working around the research and standards of off-grid solar repair. So researching into what else do we need to learn? Is there anything that we do not know at the moment? And with CLASP, what kind of standards are out there for repair? Right now, CLASP have been working with the off-grid solar community, looking at the different standards of repair and trying to mirror those that have been adopted by the EU and seeing if those can be replicated across Africa as well. And lastly, with GOGLA, this is mainly working around advocacy and policy. The main challenge that Ambrose and I have talked about has been spare parts. With GOGLA, we're hoping that they can advocate with different product manufacturers across the industry and different policymakers to make spare parts easily accessible, easily purchasable, easily ordered. And this is both on a national and sector-wide scale. National, using the different industry associations within each country, and sector-wide, speaking to mainly all the manufacturers that work in the communities that are supported around the continent. So, and so with the Repair Lab, we are hoping that a number of companies can come along. We do feel that if we have a lot of last mile distributors on this Repair Lab, it adds a much bigger voice to talk about, one, the importance of repair, and two, dealing with the challenge of spare parts. With a much bigger voice, a larger voice, I think we'll be able to move in a direction that's much more focused and allows different last mile distributors to trial repair, to perfect repair, just like we are trying to do as well. And with that, I think that will be the end for now. My contact is there, my email is there, and do feel free to reach out. And you can scan this QR code to download our repair app that we also developed to work with the different repair technicians and repair agents. And this pretty much shows the repair manuals that we use to train the technicians and the agents. Thank you, and back to you, Ambrose.
Thank you, Fred, for sharing those insights from SolarAid's perspective, and also for sharing on the work you're doing to actually ensure we further scale repairs as a service, and we further support the other last mile distributors within the space to actually roll this out in a manner that is both profitable, not only to the business, but also to the community and the agents that they're working with. Yes, that was me taking a minute to ensure that we all scan the QR code so that we can have a look at the repair app, which it's an interesting tool, and I'm sure it can actually even help you to be able to see what aspect can you be able to adapt to your current approach. For those with questions, please keep utilizing the chat. My colleagues will be able to share response where they're able to, and I'm sure also Fred will be able to have a look at them, and he can be able to respond to a few as we proceed. Now we're transitioning to the panel discussion, where we'll now be able to hear from the three last mile distributors on also what also was their experience. What was their perspective before rolling out the pilot? And now that they've been able to actually roll out the pilot, what are their learnings, and how is this informing their model as they also scale? But before we jump into that, we'll do a small poll to actually be able to understand from you what's your biggest barrier to launching repair as a service within your market, within your operations? What have you been able to observe is your biggest barrier, or what do you think is your biggest barrier?
Maybe while we wait for the answers to come in, I see there's a couple of questions in the chat. I think most of them are directed to you, Fred, based on your presentation. So maybe you can have a look at them. If there's anyone that you cannot answer, that we can also take them up in the panel discussion. But feel free to respond to them.
Thank you, Johan, for that.
Good thing. The first question is from Josephine asking, on average, how much longer did the repairs extend product lifetime? Was there an appreciable return on investment for the customers who repaired rather than replaced their equipment? On average, so we currently are and have been making phone calls to look at the quality of repair that we're offering and those that the third-party technicians and agents are offering. At the moment, of all the products that we've repaired, we have products lasting up to 1 year, which is good. We are hoping that this can continue. So at present, I can give a confident number of 1 year. And based on the satisfaction rate, customers are very much happy to, if available, pay for repair rather than purchasing a new one. That's what we've learned so far. Second question is, what's the remuneration structure for your locally sourced technicians? So with our technicians, we give them a recommended price for repairs, and this is mainly for labor costs. We do know in some cases that they do not follow this because customers are willing to pay a bit more, but we do give them a recommended price. And what this is maximum of up to 25% of the price of a purchase of a new product. So for example, if a product is $5, we recommend a recommended repair price of up to 25% of that $5. And this includes the purchase of the spare part. And in most cases, the spare part is a battery, which is relatively low priced in terms of, rather in comparison to the product price itself. Dumisani is asking, is pricing
Maybe
included in?
Fred, I'm just conscious of time. If you could maybe type the responses to the remaining questions, and then if we've got time, we can go through them at the end. I just want to make sure we've got time for the panelists.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you, Jess, for that. Yeah, I think I'll just allowing you to answer the pricing one, then we switch. But I think you can type in the chat, and maybe we can pick this up later in the conversation. So yeah, on the poll, so what are your biggest barriers to launching repair? I'm not able to see all the answers on my side. Maybe I think Sally, you can put them together and maybe share in the chat.
Yes, I'm doing that shortly.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so let's briefly transition to the panel discussion, and allow me at this juncture to introduce the three. So I'll start with Tarisai from Natfort Energies. Maybe Tarisai, you can briefly introduce yourself in a minute or so.
Thank you so much, Ambrose. My name is Tarisai Mrediwa. I'm the finance manager for Natfort Energy. Natfort Energy is a renewable energy company and also last mile distributor for solar off-grid products in the marginalized communities of Zimbabwe. Thank you.
Thank you, Tarisai. Do we have Francis from Kukula?
Sorry, Francis is not here. He texted me. I think he's having connectivity issues, so he might join in later, hopefully. But for now,
That's
I think we'll continue without him.
Okay, thank you. Dorothy from Nyalore Impact, you can briefly just introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. My name is Award Dorothy Otieno from Nyalore Impact, the CEO and founder. At Nyalore Impact, we distribute a range of clean cooking products, including the electric pressure cookers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, and so to kick it off, maybe the first question would be both to the two of you. Maybe you can share with us, number one, what informed your decision to actually pursue repair as a model that you wanted to pilot out? What were the decision-making points, or what market opportunity did you see in your respective area of operation that actually made you interested in running a repair pilot? I'll start with you, Dorothy, then we have Tarisai.
Thank you so much, Ambrose. Yes, what made us interested in piloting the repairs for our product was, one, we have partnered with a manufacturer who is Tefal, and they were ready to share with us the different components that have gone into the manufacturing or production of a pressure cooker. So we already knew what parts they were because they shared this with us, and they were willing to share with us spare parts because we agreed with them that as their distributors, we were going to handle warranties. And so that means we had to be able to get spare parts, and they were also ready to train for us, our technicians, to be able to provide these services without needing to go back to them to honor warranties and repairs for the products. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dorothy. So I think on your end, it's majorly an opportunity that arose due to your partnership with the manufacturer you're working with. Thank you for that, Tarisai.
Thank you, Ambrose. As I mentioned, we distribute solar off-grid products to the marginalized communities. So for us, it was strengthening our value proposition, that is being able to provide an end-to-end solution to our customers, the product, financing, and also the after-sales support. In addition to that, we also noted that it was a new revenue stream, as we were mainly leveraging on existing infrastructure, existing personnel, and also existing fixed costs. Lastly, for us, we had also adopted an e-waste policy. So this initiative was an opportunity for us to minimize and also reduce e-waste. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And also building on what you've said, Tarisai, I think as we were running the pilot, the aspect of spare parts came out quite strongly, and each one of us tried different models to actually address it. I would like to hear from your side. What are the thoughts, or how do you plan to, or what do you see are the best strategies that you plan to use to address the challenge of access to spare parts as you now scale the repair as a business?
I agree with you, Ambrose. The issue of spare parts became a challenge, and it's still a challenge, because initially when we had planned the Bordeaux, we thought that we were going to receive spare parts from product manufacturers or product partners. Unfortunately, that didn't come into fruition. Therefore, for us to overcome this challenge, we had to modify the local spares that we are receiving here in Zimbabwe. Also, we are still negotiating with product partners so that we have like a standing agreement on the issue of spare parts, so that when we receive the products, we also receive the spare parts. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And coming to you, Dorothy, I will try two in one. I'll pick one question from the chat. So regarding your arrangement with the repairers or the repair technicians, maybe you can touch on from your side, how have you engaged them? Maybe do you pay them on a monthly basis, or do you pay them per repair? And what considerations do you use around the engagement of technicians?
So we adapted a 3-pathway for the technicians that we work with. One, we have our own in-house technicians who are in our payroll. So those are employees of our company. Then we also have third-party technicians who are mainly people with experience of providing repairs in different locations. And then we also have students who are yet to graduate from their colleges. So we train them. And for our in-house technicians, because they are on salary, so we don't pay them anything if they provide the services. The third-party technicians, we supply them with the spare parts, and we have also trained them, so we supply them with the spare parts, and then they will add a margin to make a business, and so we also create a job opportunity for them. For the students, we are providing for them an avenue that they can look at even after graduating, because we know there's no employment for most of the youth who are graduating from colleges. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy, for that. So yeah, I'm sure, Brown, I think when you pick Dorothy's answer as well as what Fred has shared, maybe give you a perspective on how to approach the issue of repair agents. Finally, maybe I can pick from you, Tarisai. Looking at your experience in the pilot, how are you fashioning your approach going forward as you're scaling it? And critically, what would be your key advice to any of the LMDs in the group currently that is testing out repair or that is trying out repair?
Thank you so much, Ambrose, for that. I think going forward for us, Natfort Energy, we are continuing, or rather we're scaling up this last mile repair service initiative. What we have learned, which will also come across as recommendations to other last mile distributor, is as follows. The first thing that we learned is there's need for quality technical sales agents or quality technicians, something that we overlooked when we piloted. How to then get quality technical sales agents is by partnering with training institutions so that we couple the theoretical knowledge that they would have learned with the soft skills that we impart. In addition to that, we also noted that there is a need to have a thorough value chain analysis before piloting, have a clear roadmap on suppliers of spare parts, also the target customers, also the business model. Because what we noted is that financial sustainability of this initiative is based, or rather it leverages on existing infrastructure and also existing costs, and it requires a very lean business model. I think those two were the key takeaways from our end. Thank you.
Thank you, Tarisai. And wrapping down the conversation, maybe from your side, Dorothy, I think one thing that has come out strongly is the success of repair as a model or as a service needs the input of everyone within the industry, and it's a partnership and a collaboration across the sector. So from your side, based on your experience in the pilot, what would be your main advice or recommendation to stakeholders within the ecosystem that are supporting last mile distributors to actually try out some of these innovative approaches?
Yeah, I think one advice I would give is to track repair data systematically, because this records that you're keeping as you do your repairs and receive the faulty parts, you'll be able to get the trends, which will help you identify the product issues, and you'll be able to communicate with the manufacturer to improve the product and reduce the faults or breakdown of those parts, and also helps you to plan your preventive maintenance needs in the organization. And then just planning early enough on a pilot, maybe start by piloting in 1 or 2 regions, because this gives you the ability to define your processes and monitor the turnaround times of the products and learn from early challenges and before you scale. So I think any company willing or wishing to start should really consider these 2 points. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dorothy. Just as a follow-up, do you have any word for organizations like GDC or other ecosystem enablers working with the last mile distributors in the space?
Yes, I think repairs as a service is a different revenue stream for any organization, and just modeling the business around it, I think, is something that cannot be done within 6 months. So I think GDC should take the challenge and see how they can help the organizations that participated in the repair model, repair hub, I mean repair innovation, to see how they can successfully develop a business model out of the learnings and the lessons that they had. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dorothy and Tarisai, for sharing your lessons and also sharing your perspectives with us. So allow me to hand it back to Sally, but as she comes in, just to alert you, please share in your questions. I think we'll be able to take stock of them and share the responses either via email or also connect you with the different speakers that we had in the session so that we can have further follow-ups with them. So thank you, and back to you, Sally.
Thank you, Ambrose. I am going to now share a general poll. Please make sure everyone you participate and fill in our survey. Thank you.
And just a thank you from me to all of our speakers today and for you all for joining us. We hope you found the session fruitful. The repair spotlight is available. I think we've dropped the link in a couple of times. So if you want to find out more about the pilots, take a look there. And as mentioned, we'd love to get your feedback on the session. So please do take the time to fill out the poll. And in the coming days, we'll be sharing the slides to this session, the recording, and the contact details from the companies that you've heard from. So if you did want to reach out directly, please do so. We'll also share responses to the questions in the chat that we didn't get a chance to address today. The next GDC webinar, which is exclusively just for GDC members, is happening on the 5th of August, and we'll be digging into unit economics. So if you are a GDC member and you would like to join that session, please get in touch with us and we'll share the joining instructions with you. So I'll just pop our email address in the chat. So if you are a GDC member and you haven't yet signed up to the webinar on unit economics but are interested, please just drop us an email and we can share the details with you. Thanks again, and we look forward to seeing you at another GDC session soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.